I don't want to freak you out, but layoffs are coming and you need an emergency fund as soon as possible. Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. Here we talk about life and money and all things budgeting, saving money, paying off debt, everything in between. And if you've watched any recent videos on my channel, then you know that we are going through our very own financial uncertainty right now, as my husband actually lost his job last week. He was unfortunately part of a mass layoff with his company, and we are now navigating this season of unemployment, finding a new job, and figuring out how that all works in our budget. I felt like I just wanted to share a quick little video as an encouragement to you to start your emergency fund or increase that emergency fund now. There have been a lot of companies recently who have been also doing mass layoffs. I know that Twitter just did some at the time of filming this video, along with Lyft and Stripe and a whole bunch of other tech companies are doing layoffs or hiring freezes. Now, my husband has been searching for jobs. He has been unemployed now for a week, and he's already applied to about 40 jobs so far. And so for his field and what he's trying to look for, there are some things out there, but he's also seen a lot of other companies doing some hiring freezing, and obviously in the news, we've seen a lot of other companies start layoffs. I also know that right now there's a lot of talk of recession and economic uncertainty. The consensus is that a recession is coming. It's not a matter of if, but when. And so now is the time to prepare. The situation that my family is in right now is not the best. Yes, it definitely sucks. We have a 2.5-year-old, a 4-month-old baby, and here we are with my husband, who is the breadwinner, is now unemployed. And it's definitely nerve-wracking because we don't know when he's going to find another job, how much that's going to pay, and it's definitely a time of uncertainty. But one thing that I'm really grateful for is that we got our finances together and we have an emergency fund. A rule of thumb that a lot of people share is having 3 to 6 months of necessary expenses saved in an emergency fund. And this amount will vary depending on your circumstance, whether you are a single income family with 3 kids, or maybe you are a dual income, no kids household. There's going to be some varying as to whether you want to be on the lower end of that or the higher end. But I will say we've had about 4 months of necessary expenses. And while I know that's going to be okay for us because I still have an income here on YouTube and we didn't just lose out on all of our income all at once, it still is really nerve-wracking. And after this, I definitely want to increase our emergency fund to 6 months of expenses for sure. Now, if you're paying off debt, it is still so important for you to have an emergency fund, because if you're working on paying off debt and then you end up in the same situation that we're in of being unemployed and you only have $1,000 in your emergency fund, that's not going to get you very far. So it's definitely important for you to have an emergency fund and also have it be more than $1,000. I know that Dave Ramsey will say that the first thing you need to do is have $1,000. You guys, that's a really great step, and if you're new to working on your finances, it's a really great start. But please do not stop there at $1,000. Make sure that you increase that and have some sort of emergency fund that'll float you even for a little bit while you're still working on paying off debt. I think at least having 1 month of necessary expenses saved, but honestly, I might do 3, especially during this time of economic uncertainty. If you are thinking that maybe you might lose a job, definitely stockpile that cash away in an emergency fund. The thing is that when you have an emergency fund, you at least feel so much more security. And if something bad happens, whether that is a huge expense or an unexpected job loss, or if they even happen at the same time, it's still a really sucky situation, but at least you know that you're going to be okay financially because you have an emergency fund. So get that emergency fund done as soon as possible. You can get this done sooner by cutting things out of your budget that aren't necessities. You can also increase your income by taking on some sort of side hustle, finding other ways to bring extra income into your household so that you can then put even more towards that emergency fund to get it finished as soon as possible. So I just wanted to share this and share our situation to encourage, I don't want to scare you, but I want to encourage you to work on that emergency fund right now. Work on building that up so that you have a sufficient emergency fund should something happen. And I am not sure what the future holds. I'm not sure if or when a recession is coming, or if we're already in one, or what all of that, is going to entail. But I'm trying to control the things that I can, and that is having an emergency fund definitely provides a lot of peace of mind. So let's not be afraid, but let's just be prepared. Increase that emergency fund so that you can have some peace of mind if the shiz ever hits the fan. And you can follow along more on our journey as we're kind of living in the shiz hitting the fan right now. And I'm sharing all about it and the finance part of it here on my channel. So you can subscribe for more of that so you can follow along, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
About to leave.